and remodeling studio. This is The Point. MakeThePointRadio.com. 95.9 FM.
It's time for Success in Real Estate with Frankie Griffin, owner and broker in charge of the Palmetto Success Team, certified residential specialist, accredited buyer representative, military relocation professional, real estate appraiser, and author of Success in Real Estate. If you are interested in buying or selling a home, investing in real estate, or having your home appraised, you will enjoy Success in Real Estate. Now, here's Frankie Griffin.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and appraiser. Thank you for joining me this morning. Going to have a lot of things I want to talk about that I think could be very, very interesting leading into I won't say leading into the spring, but I think we just had our spring yesterday. It's now summer, and it's going to be hot. And, you know, in fact, before we even get into this, I just want to say I learned a couple of things about Brian here already this morning. One, he cleans up very well. If you could just see, Brian, how come nobody's taking a picture of you and put it on Facebook yet?
I have no idea.
I mean, looking sharp, tie and all. I'm impressed. The other thing is, not only is Brian apparently scared of haunted houses, he's also scared of a boat. For good grief. So, Brian, what's your issue with a boat?
I like fishing. I love fishing. I'm not getting in a boat.
I offered to buy a boat so we can go fishing, and you turned me down.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
You're going to stand on the bank?
Get some heavy line, put some weights on it. Then you hook it right, it go right at just as far as that boat can.
You're acting like a baby.
I'm not getting on a boat, Frankie.
You're a baby. All right, well, so much for that. Tried to get him out, tried to get him some culture, but no, not going to work. So let's talk about the subject matter here. And, you know, one of the things that we're seeing right now in real estate, inventory is just it's just very low. And when I say inventory, especially really nice houses. Now, there's some investment opportunities out there, fixer-uppers, if you will. And for anybody interested in doing that, you know, there's a lot of opportunity for that. In fact, we're getting ready to hopefully close on one very soon. I say we, me and my son Joseph, going to have this thing fixed up, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do with it. But anyway, there is opportunity for stuff like that, for sure. But if you're looking for a really nice place to stay or live, the inventory is just very low right now. There's just not a lot to choose from, and buyers are having a hard time finding something they like. So 2 points right there. One, if you're thinking about selling your house, now's the time. The competition is not there. I think you will have a very relatively easy time selling your home today, assuming you price it right, and obviously we can certainly help you with that. But what I want to talk about is, you know, if you are looking at buying a house today, with the inventory as low as it is, you could very well find yourself in a multiple offer situation. These multiple offers, they're back. Had several transactions last year, certainly with multiple offers. But this year already, I personally have been involved with 3 myself, which is, for me, that's kind of unusual to have that many multiple offer situations this early in the year. And I've had other agents tell me they've been involved with multiple offer situations also. Well, when we're involved with multiple offers, especially as the buyer, there's some things you need to be considering here. And that's what I want to talk about primarily, at least for this morning. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you've experienced multiple offer situations, either as the buyer or seller, or any real estate agents that are listening right now, love to have your input, because we want to try to figure out the best way to handle multiple offers. And the number to call here in studio is 803-799-8255. Again, 799-8255. Give me a call and let's talk about it. Okay, well, the first thing you got to make sure of, buyer, if you're being serious, and certainly if you want to be taken seriously, you've got to get pre-approved. Go ahead and talk to a lender. Obviously, my suggestion would be Erica Hill West. She's our mortgage go-to gal, and she does an awesome job, but you got to go to somebody and go ahead and get pre-approved. That is absolutely critical for sellers to consider your offer very seriously today. Now, understand there's a difference between pre-approved and pre-qualified. And pre-qualified basically, and I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail here, but pre-qualified just means that you've answered some questions by the lender. You know, they ask you, how much do you make? What's your debt, the income, what do you owe? Stuff like that. And then they will determine what you could qualify for based on the information you told them. Problem we run into a lot of times is sometimes the information received is not complete. Sometimes it's just totally inaccurate. And we wind up not getting approved for what you thought you could. If you get the pre-approval, that means the underwriter has already verified information. You've already gone through the underwriting process. We know what you make. We know what your income is. We know what your debt is. And know your credit score, all that good stuff. And so a seller is going to be a lot more serious about your offer if you already have the pre-approval. And that is absolutely the first. You've got to have that. You are totally wasting your time and the agent's time today making an offer on a house, and you have not been pre-approved and attached that letter to the offer. You've absolutely got to do that. All right. Now, the next thing I think is very important to consider when you may very well be in a multiple offer situation is it's important to kind of explore some of the different types of financing that is available. I know a lot of people prefer or would like to go FHA. I say like to because that's what they're approved for. That's what they can get the loan for. Well, one of the issues you may run into, especially if it's a house that needs any work, with FHA or VA financing, it's going to be, when the appraiser comes out and they write up stuff, it's just there are certain things that are going to have to be done to that house before the financing will actually be approved. And that may not be a good thing if you are if you're wanting to close very soon. So as a seller, especially if it's a house that we know needs a little bit of work, somewhat of a fixer-upper, the FHA may not be the right answer. I know we've got a caller on the line. We'll be right back after the break. Love to hear from you, 799-8255. Be right back with Success in Real Estate.
95.9 FM and 1470 AM.
All right, good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and appraiser. Thank you for tuning in this morning. And we're talking about multiple offers because they are back. And if we've got this many multiple offers going on around the Midlands this early in the year, I can only imagine what later in the spring and through the summer is going to be like. But I want to go straight to our phone lines because we do have some callers. And if you want to call in, the number 799-8255, 799-8255. And first up, we're going to talk to Pam. How you doing this morning, Pam?
I'm doing well this morning.
Oh, you're always doing well. What's going on with you today?
Well, you had just talked about multiple offers, and I've already experienced one this year. And I agree with something that you were saying about the higher-end homes and the low inventory. Got in a situation where I had some buyers, and they made an offer on a very nice home, about 5,000 square foot home. And it had been sitting out there for a little bit. And so we knew we could probably get a pretty good deal on it, made the offer. Before they had a chance to respond, we were notified that there was a multiple offer situation. So then we had to come up with our second strategy. The big thing is the house had only been owned by those people for a little over a year, and job took them away.
Uh-huh.
So we knew they'd kind of over-improved the house. We had to be careful we could get it at a price that would appraise.
Sure.
And still, win the bid against another offer.
So do you think
I
the
think-
reason you got it was you outbid them, or were there any other strategies involved?
Well, there were some other strategies. Some of the research showed, like I said, there was nothing else in the neighborhood that was as high as what they were asking. So we started low, but we also kept it real clean. The house was full of nice stuff and playground equipment, but we chose to not ask for a bunch of closing costs, not try to get involved in personal belongings, just keep a real clean offer, a real strong approval letter, real strong earnest money. And then when the multiple offer came, the only thing for us to do was bring our dollar figure up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's what won over in the end, that we had not just the highest, but the best.
Well, and yeah, that usually does it. It's just so hard when you're, because obviously you don't know what the other party is doing or offering.
Absolutely, and that's the scary part.
Yeah, and so should we stick with our original offer, or should we put more money on the table?
Well, the good thing was is since we had started so low that when they put more money on the table, they still weren't really beyond where they were comfortable being, and it won out in the end. And then it turns out that we were still under appraised values. So they were real happy campers coming in with a little equity.
Well, that's good. Now, Pam, what company are you with?
I work with Douglas and Cannon Real Estate in Chapin.
Okay, so you're out. So you do most of your work and business in Chapin?
I'd say 80% of it's Chapin, but we work, of course, throughout the whole MLS.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's awesome, Pam. I can't thank you enough for calling in. And
well, thank you, and thank you for your great training. I went through your school, and I sent some other folks to you. Matter of fact, I have a family member going through your school this week.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to seeing.
Okay.
Pam,
Thanks so much.
have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, and let's go straight back to our phone lines where we've got Crystal on the line. How you doing, Crystal?
I'm doing great, Frankie. How are you?
Oh, this is such a fine day today.
It is. Happy Friday.
The same to you. What's going on?
Here in Sumter, we're seeing a lot more multiple offers, and we're primarily a military market. And I've actually had a lot of buyers lately get into those situations where everybody's already looking, at home because they've gotten their PCS orders. And I know the one I worked with recently, he ran into it 3 times before he found a house, and then he was like, let's jump on it before I get into another competition. So we're seeing it a lot.
So so multiple offers are happening or popping up a lot in Sumter also.
Yeah, the one that was probably the most stressful for me recently, it was my listing. I specialize in the certified pre-owned resales, and this one, was at market, slightly below market value, including closing costs. I had one buyer, and another brokerage had the other buyer, and it really just came down to one asked for professional cleaning, and the other one didn't, and it was really nerve-wracking.
Wow.
So yeah, I had to step back and let my broker, oversee everything to make sure everything was, on an even playing field.
So you say a professional clean? You mean just cleaning the inside of the house?
Yeah, it came down to all of $200 difference to out of pocket for the seller on one side. Yeah, and that was the difference.
Well, that was close then.
Yeah, it really was.
Well, and now you were representing the seller on this one?
I had the seller, and on one of the offers, I also had the buyer. So I just, gave that to my broker and let him notify the other buyer.
So you had a dual agency going on.
Right. So
Okay.
it was, I had to be very, very careful in that situation to not, disclose any confidential information to either side.
Sure.
So.
Well, that's
But
good.
it was kind of easier simply because it was the certified pre-owned. We already had the appraisal, pre-inspection, home warranty, disclosed to everybody.
And
So
see, that's critical,
it was pretty
right?
transparent. It was pretty transparent. Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's why, one of the reasons, we here at the Palmetto Success Team, we have every property we list or put on the market, it will already have an appraisal done. So there'll be a
Right.
recent appraisal, and we we always want to have it pre-inspected. And, and I've talked about that on this show many times and why that's so important. But there's a lot of other things we do. And, that is so important to be able to bring in strong offers if you're the seller.
It really is. I mean, he knew he had some very minimal repairs from the beginning, got those knocked out. So he didn't have a surprise after contract. And then the buyer just had that extra confidence knowing that those issues were already taken care of. So I'm a big proponent of pre-inspection. So I think they're right.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you calling and telling us that. And by the way, I know you just completed a broker course. You already get your license now?
Yes, sir. I ran out and took that test right away before I forgot anything. So
that's what
I got it from LLR, I think Monday. So,
well, congratulations. Yeah. Another broker in Sumter.
Yes, sir. Thanks for all your training.
Well, Chris,
I really had a great time with Ron. He was an excellent instructor.
Yeah, he tells me that. So, no.
I'd say give him a raise, but he's retiring. So.
Yeah. Well, he's just saying that. We haven't decided that yet or not.
Yeah. Well, I hope he sticks around.
All right. Well, Crystal, thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a great week.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. And, so multiple offers, we're starting to see them everywhere. One agent, Pam in Chapin, is dealing with multiple offers. We got Crystal in Sumter dealing with multiple offers. And I know there's a lot of multiple offers or situations right here in the Midlands. So, if you're thinking about buying, you've really got to understand the market has changed. We're now, I believe, in a seller's market, and buyers, you just cannot do things the way we've always done it. The market's changed, and you've got to be really prepared for these situations now, which also means if it's a nice house, buyer, you're going to have to pay for it. Seller knows they don't have to give away their house today. So you might as well be prepared to pay for it. And the absolute last thing you want to do is come in with a lowball offer. That right there is going to make the seller irritated. And if another offer does come in the meantime, they're already going to give the second offer every chance over you because you've already made them mad with your lowball. So when you're making the offer, you just never know whether you're going to be the only offer or may there be other offers. And I can just about tell you, if it's a nice home, good chance you're going to be fighting with other buyers today. So let's go back to some of these tips for buyers if you are in a multiple offer situation. And before the break, we actually were talking about some of the different types of financing. I know Erica West, our mortgage go-to gal, will be calling in, and I'll be talking to her in the next segment. I'm going to save some of that for when she is on the line and talking to us. But I can just tell you for right now, the type of financing can be very important depending on the property and depending on the situation, that's for sure. Because, again, if you're using FHA and VA, there's some things that a seller may be concerned about versus an offer that where the buyer is seeking conventional financing. Well, how much time we got left in this segment?
50 seconds.
Okay, less than a minute. So I know David is on the line. Dave, if you'll just hold tight, I don't want to rush you through. We only got less than a minute in this segment, so I'll bring you back up on the next segment. But anyway, so the type of financing is going to be very, very critical. Sellers are looking for conventional more times than not because they know that there's going to be less hurdles to have to jump to try to get through closing anyway. But anyway, we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions or any comments, any concerns about anything real estate, we'd love to help you. But certainly if it's anything to do with multiple offers, we'd love to hear about that. The number to call is 799-8255, 799-8255. Be right back with more Success in Real Estate.
FM, 1470 AM, and MakeThePointRadio.com.
All right, good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. Again, I'm Frankie Griffin. Thank you for joining me this morning. We're talking about multiple offers and how, if you're a buyer or seeking to buy a home today, some things you need to be prepared for. And obviously, we want to take your calls. If you have any questions or comments, the number 799-8255, 799-8255. So we're going to go right back to our phone lines, where right now we've got David on the line. How you doing, David?
Hi, Frankie. I'm doing wonderful, and I hope you are.
Oh, it's such a fine day today. What's going on with you?
Frankie, up here in the upstate, what I'm seeing up here is multiple offers coming in 1, 2, 3 days after hitting the market. And what I have learned just the other day from a buyer's agent, that what makes mine more appealing than the others. And then that you will control the contract at that point. And what they've seen is they're having to come up just a little bit on that number with a whole lot less contingencies. I know that you guys do an inspection and an appraisal and stuff, which really helps on the contingency part. But what the agent is telling me is that they're having to come up a little bit on the number just to control that contract and be in the game, be in the fight.
Yeah. So Dave, you're in Greenville.
Greenville, Spartanburg, right.
Right, yeah. So we've already heard from an agent in Chapin. We heard from an agent in Sumter. Now you in Greenville. And so we're seeing multiple offers everywhere right now.
And with a little bit of time on the market, 2 and 3 days, I had a buyer the other day. Lady said, you're fourth in line. Make it a good one.
Well, and see, this is just incredible. And again, I think it has to go back to the inventories are just so low right now. There's just buyers. There's not a lot of choices for nice houses. So you're going to have to pay up. That's just the way it's going to be today. That's for sure.
And again, controlling the contract, again, Frankie, this buyer agent said, listen, I had to get my people to come up some just to control the contract so that we would be in the fight, so that they would even give us an opportunity to be there. Low negotiations. They're not much negotiation. They're looking at the numbers, and the numbers are meeting the seller's expectations, and they're following through with the contract and ratifying.
You're right. So did your buyer get the house?
No, sir. We sure didn't.
Well, hey, I know the feeling, because I made an offer on a house yesterday and got beat out. So so I know how that works. So you win some, you lose some, and right now, buyers, you're going to have to pay if you want the house. That's just the way it is.
Absolutely, Frankie. Hey, look forward to seeing you next week. I'm going to be down in Columbia, going to the State House there with the Realtors, and then I hope to come by and see you.
Well, looking forward to it, David. Good to hear from you. Hope you have a great weekend.
You too, sir. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care. All right, well, next up, we've got everybody's favorite attorney in South Carolina, Mr. Andy On. How you doing, Mr. Andy?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Oh, it's a fine day today.
It is a fine day out there. It's been a fine week. It's been beautiful outside.
Yeah.
Been a great week. Got a lot going on. Was fortunate enough to be invited by Home Pest Control last night to come to the builder preview of the Home Garden Show out at the fairgrounds. And, man, I'm telling you, that place was packed last night, and I got a feeling they're going to have big crowds this weekend as well. A lot of real estate professionals out last night talking about the very thing you're talking about right now, low inventory.
Yep.
And we had a lunch and learn yesterday that I was involved in, and everybody's favorite mortgage person, Erica West, was involved in. And Erica got up and she told the crowd of about 25 agents that she's got. I think she said she had something like 12 or 15 pre-qualifications ready to go. I mean, people pre-qualified, ready to buy, but nothing to buy.
Well,
I was like, wow,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really is. I don't know that we're in a seller's market yet, but it sure is smelling like one's coming. And I reckon that's a good thing. That's a good thing, especially with rates still being down, and it'll help values go up. And so overall, I think those are good signs for the economy. I wanted to touch base with you, Frankie. We've got a great tutor and tour coming up at the end of March, and I'll talk with you, probably next week a little bit about this as well. We're going to be hosting this event on March 24th at a really pretty listing that Lynn Martin has. You know Lynn. Lynn's with Century 21, John Bolos, and we do a lot of work with John's office over there. Lynn and her husband have a beautiful listing out in West Columbia, and so we're going to be talking about listings and MLS disclosures. Okay, it's called Listings and MLS Disclosures 101, and we're going to be talking about everything from the management to the making of listings and really how to handle them properly. Some of the disclosures that need to be made that are typically and routinely not made. And I'll tell you, we really we had a great session yesterday on disclosures relating to short sales, and we had just a tremendous crowd with a varied experience. And I love that, Frankie, because we get people that are brand new agents, and then we get people like Steve Cowart was there yesterday.
Yep.
And, you know, nobody knows foreclosures like Steve Cowart, right?
You got
it. He was just able to provide so much insight into an agent's perspective when you're dealing with short sales and foreclosures and this kind of thing. So it was a wonderful seminar. We look forward to having the same type of crowd at this upcoming seminar on the 24th. And just really excited about what's going on in the industry. I'm telling you, a lot of buyers out there need to get some inventory. If you're ready to list your house, you get call old Frankie Griffin.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Well, that's good. And now, when's this going to be?
The next seminar, the Tutoring Tour, is going to be on March 24th. Okay, and if you are a real estate professional, you need to be here. I don't care if you've been in the business 30 years. I don't care if you've been in the business 30 minutes. You need to be at this seminar because I will tell you there are things that are routinely not done by the most seasoned agents that I end up having to look at because somebody's got an issue and they call me to find out why their realtor didn't disclose this to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, it's always better to deal with the issue, you know, win the battle before you fight it, right? And
right.
And you know, try to anticipate the issues as best you can. You know, we talk about this in the classes that we teach over at your school, and I tell you, we've had some great classes over there lately. Boy, you're packing them in.
Well, and we've been very blessed. We've got a class starting tomorrow that's I think we've got 1 or 2 seats left, and we got another one starting Monday that's already full.
Well, it's a great time to come in the market, Frankie. It really is, and I think that now that the weather's getting warmer, people are like, you know what? We need to, if we're going to do something with our house, now's the time to do it because buyers are out there, rates are still good, and, you know, the situation is just primed for a good deal, you know?
Well, I'm looking forward to the summer. It's going to be very busy, and I think you're right. If you're looking for a career change, now's a great time to do it. That's for sure.
Running your own business. I tell you, running your own business. We had that Tutoring Tour a few weeks ago on the tax advantages to, you know, being a real estate agent, and there are an awful lot of them, and, you know, so it's a good time, and they just need to make sure they sign up for Frankie Griffin's class so they get it learn the right way.
The Real Estate School for Success. In fact, with all these agents coming in,
after that, every day will be a fine day.
That's right. Andy, thank you so much
all right,
for
Frankie,
calling in.
Take care, Bubba.
Have a good weekend. All right, that's Andy Awn with Awn and McKay Law Firm. They've got offices all over the place, but they got an office in Chapin. They've got one here in Columbia. It's right off of Columbiana Boulevard, right there at Columbiana and Lake Murray Boulevard. So anyway, so if you need any legal help, Andy Awn, he can do it. If you need to get his contact information, just go to my website, frankiegriffin.com. frankiegriffin.com. Click on my real estate partners, and you'll see all of our real estate partners there. But certainly Andy Awn will be there. And when we come back, I know we're right up against the break. We got one more segment left, but I want to finish going over some of these very important tips for buyers dealing with multiple offers. Give me a call, 799-8255. Be right back with Success in Real Estate.
Is The Point. 95.9 FM and 1470 AM.
All right, good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, and we're talking about buying a home and facing the potential of multiple offers. And it's just such a huge deal right now. But what I want to go right now, straight to the phone lines and talk to our mortgage go-to gal, Miss Erica Hill West. How you doing, Miss Erica?
I'm doing great. How are you, Frankie?
Oh, I am so fine today. I know you've got the number here memorized.
I do. It's on speed dial.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. I'm flexible. We're good.
Well, I knew that. I absolutely knew that. And, we've been having some people calling in, and we love to hear from our listeners. And, of course, Andy was just in the last break. In fact, he was saying some very nice things about you at the tutoring tour.
Oh, it was so fun. And I'm so glad that you're talking about this multiple offer situation because I don't know if Andy told you. I mean, I have 25 qualified buyers, no contract.
Yeah, and he did say that.
I mean, and then I had one that was in a multiple offer situation, won it, and the appraisal didn't come in for the price because everybody was overbidding to get the contract.
Oh, my goodness.
And so those things can happen when you're in a situation like this, and that's why I'm encouraging as many agents as possible. You need to prospect. Anybody who's thinking about listing their property, they need to do it now because inventory is super low, and there's tons of buyers out there. If I have 25, I mean, there's got to be hundreds right now that are looking, and there's no property.
Right.
No property.
You're exactly right. In fact, I'll just go ahead and tell you, of course, I haven't talked to you since yesterday. But, we were making, my son, Joseph and I, we were looking at buying a house. And, of course, as you knew, we knew we were going to be dealing with a multiple offer situation. And we did not get the house, Miss Erica.
Horrible.
And the funny thing, I say funny, and it's okay. Things work out for the best. But, by the way, we got another house we want to look at today. So,
good.
So we're still going to be spending that money. But I'll just tell you, the reason we didn't get it, we were actually we had the highest offer. I don't know how much, but I know we had the highest offer. But the seller went with it really for, I guess, two reasons. One, the other buyer was able to pay all cash. And I'm not there yet. Now, I was telling Brian during the break, if it's going to be over about $100, I got to talk to Erica about this.
That's right.
So,
me too. Don't worry about it.
And,
That's how it works.
But the main reason the cash was appealing, other than obviously cash is always appealing, they're able to close in 10 days or less.
And, 10 days.
And, we were looking at probably, 3 weeks or so. But which I thought was still reasonable in terms of close. But you can't blame the seller. They wanted a quick sale and be out of it. And when you got somebody offering cash, then if you don't have cash, then that's gonna be hard to beat there. So
do you know how many days on market that property was?
2 or 3. It had just come on the market.
See, and agents, if you're listening, do you hear that? Do you know how many people would love to have their house sell in 2 or 3 days?
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now. I cannot encourage people enough. If, I put something out on Facebook yesterday, anybody who thinks they need to sell or is wanting to sell, and you don't know a realtor, call me. And you need a list, like, right now.
That's right.
That's a huge, and everybody keeps joking, and I'm like, no, we have no inventory right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, one of the things that I was talking about in the first segment that I'm glad you're on, you can help me with. In fact, this is something that I was kind of talking to you about yesterday that also kind of played into why we might not have gotten a deal. I don't think this is the reason, but things add up, and we'll tilt the scale one way or another. But, depending on the situation, the age of the house, the condition of the house, the type of financing can certainly weigh on the seller's mind.
Absolutely.
And because FHA, VA, it's going to be a little more stringent. There's more criteria, especially from the appraisal standpoint. And, and a seller knows this. So, if I've got two offers and one buyer is saying they're approved for conventional financing, well, they know that will likely be less hurdles to have to jump to get to closing.
Yeah. That's right.
But, and I don't even know how much time we got, Brian. I don't know how we got enough time to get into what I was wanting.
7 minutes.
Okay, well, look at there. You all over this. Well, here's and I'm going to use the situation that we were in yesterday. And by the way, and I called you twice yesterday. We hadn't even made an offer yet, and I was already in panic mode.
And I told you just needed to make the offer, and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, you said just stop it again, calm down. Yeah. You haven't even made the offer yet. Let's make the offer and see if we can get it. So, and that was very good. See, that's why I like talking to Erica. But, if you have well, let me talk about this first, just because I want to make sure we get before we run out of time. If can a cosigner qualify for a conventional loan?
Under certain circumstances, yes. And typically, when we're talking about mortgages, we're talking about a non-occupying co-borrower, which we say cosigner. A non-occupying co-borrower has to get through all the same hurdles as a borrower. They're just not going to be occupying the property.
Right.
Conventional will allow it, but you kind of have to, for every property that non-occupying co-borrower owns, they've got to have reserves, and it has to make sense. Mm-hmm. In your situation, it makes sense. I just had to make sure that the income-wise we were okay, and FHA is just the easiest way because conventional is very tricky. But in your situation, I went and ran it and emailed you and said, yeah, I think we can do it.
Well, and that was a huge help right there because, in fact, I put in our offer, I went ahead and checked conventional and FHA because we could go either way. And that's important, especially. So if you're a buyer right now and you're thinking about buying, you want to be careful because you got to indicate in the contract the type of financing you're going to be using. And the seller wants to know that because that can impact the seller's bottom end, their net, depending on the type of financing the buyer uses.
And I would definitely, to add on to that, I would definitely maybe put out a little caveat to any agents or buyers. If you are using government financing, I would be very, very cautious looking at as-is properties or bank-owned properties or anything like that because they're pretty much communicating to you on some extent. They know that the house is not up to specific regulations that those government products may require. Mm-hmm. And I would caution you. I can't tell you how many times, I've said, we're using FHA. Can we get a termite letter?
Yep.
Well, everything looks okay. Well, the listing says as is. So I'm pretty sure that they know of something.
Yeah. You're exactly right. That's and that as is means there are issues and we're not fixing it.
Right.
Now
they may not know specifically what is wrong, but I mean, especially and I say this because when it's bank owned, pre-foreclosure, short sale, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. You can correct me on this. I don't think they have to fill out the property exposure.
No, not if it's bank owned. They don't. And
so I would really, really, really just please make sure that your buyers are educated because I seem like the bad person that just doesn't want to work when I'm like, I feel like we're in for a headache and we're in for some heartburn and they've got stars in their eyes for this property because they're getting a great deal. And I just can see it getting tricky and sticky.
You're right. You're absolutely right, and I got to tell you, if you're thinking about buying again, just talk to Erica, give her a call, and if you've got somebody else or thinking about using, that's fine. I'm sure Erica, you'll tell them that they need to shop around.
Absolutely.
But friends are friends, but business is business, and money's money, and I want to keep all of those if I can help it. So. You want to shop around and see who can get you the best deals and stuff. And I know Erica does such an awesome job And we've got about a minute left, Erica, but I want to make sure everybody knows how to get in touch with you.
You can reach me on my cell phone. That number is 803-528-5019. You can email me at ewest@mortgagenetwork.com, or you can search for me on Facebook. Just search for the Mortgage Go-To Gal.
Mortgage Go-To Gal. Thank you, Erica. Hope you have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thanks, Frankie.
All righty. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Again, that's Erica Hill West with Mortgage Network. And again, if you couldn't get her information, just go to our website, frankiegriffin.com. Click on the real estate partners, and there you'll find all her information. And, you know, I didn't get to anywhere near everything I wanted to, but we're out of time. If you're ready to sell your house, give us a call. Go to frankiegriffin.com. Hope you have a great weekend. You've been listening to Success in Real Estate.